first of all, yeah, like in conversation, just a chance for us to sit down and chat to you and different people, different creatives in the industry. And it gives us a chance, or it gives you a chance to kind of talk through your work and then give us others an insight into the sort of how it works and any kind of tips you can give and kind of how you've
Mhm.
created some of the kind of amazing stuff that you've done. Um, so we can go right back to the start and just talk about where how did everything begin? Like tell us a bit about your background. Like where did you grow up?
I was born and raised in the Philippines. I wasn't planning on doing modeling at all from the start. My first dream was to become an astronaut. So
Oh, nice.
still have that dream really. But life happened and it sort of reality actually just starting happening and realized that, oh, actually this is harder than I thought. But anyways, I followed that dream. I have an uncle that used to work with NASA.
Mhm.
So I just sort of like followed his track, studied chemical engineering, went to the same university, only to realize that it's not really for me on the last few years of university. Still managed to finish it because, I come from an Asian family, so it's sort of like you gotta finish it no matter what. Um, Anyways, I got into modeling by accident on my after university. I was doing my board exam. So in the Philippines, before you become an engineer, you have to do a board exam and you get your license basically. So while I was doing that, a friend of mine told me, "Oh, there's a modeling competition in Manila. You should try it." And I'm like, you know what? I don't know what to do actually in my life right now, so might as well try it while I'm studying for my board exam.
Mhm.
Luckily, I won that competition, and that gave me a modeling contract in the Philippines. So I was full-time modeling in the Philippines for about 2 years. I got scouted by a mother agent back home, and they paved the way for me to be able to try London market. And so when I got into London, I was initially just planning to stay for 3 months. I flew actually in the middle of the pandemic.
Mhm.
I remember a week after I arrived, they announced second lockdown, and I was like worried. I came here for work, etc. But it was really, I was actually fine, surprisingly. And then 3 months became 5 years now. So I haven't really moved back home. I now consider London as my home, and yeah, this is where I'm based now.
So what kind of age are we talking? When did you kind of come over that first bit? Like you said, your first round lockdown. What sort of how old were you then?
Think I was probably, so I started modeling 22. So I was probably 24
Mhm.
when I moved to London, if I'm right. Um, yeah, yeah, that's how old I was.
Yeah, did it feel like quite a jump? Did it feel quite like a big adventure, something different?
I was, if I'm being honest, I was more excited than scared. Even though I didn't know anyone in London, I also only had like, I don't know, more or less 300 pounds as like my pocket money. But I was just like, nothing was happening in the Philippines. I was just ready to risk it and do something. And my mindset at that time was I either get stuck here in the Philippines or I try my luck in London. If I fail, then at least I've tried it.
Mhm.
And I got no regrets. So that was my mindset back then. But now looking back at it, I was like, what was I thinking? It was quite risky what I've done. But I'm glad I did it. I have no regrets. It really taught me a lot. Not just It wasn't just good for my career as a model, but at the same time, it really um helped me develop who I am right now, my independence, and just exploring the world coming from the Philippines, like that in itself is already a big learning experience for me. And I'm glad as well that I moved during the pandemic because London wasn't um, how it is now.
Mhm.
London was sort of slow at that time, and there wasn't much happening, and it was sort of a good adjustment for me, or else I'll be way overwhelmed if I move to London like how it is now.
Yeah, it gave you a chance to kind of like ease into it, ease into the city,
Yeah.
and then while you were there, it slowly started picking up again and getting a bit busier.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah.
So at what point when you kind of moved over, yeah, what point was it before you moved over when you're there, when you kind of felt with the modeling, yeah, I've made it or I can make something of this? What do you know, was there a kind of point when you realized that?
Actually, it was still back in the Philippines. I made a decision whether I would pursue chemical engineering or modeling. And work was slowly picking up with modeling. And I feel like I had to make a decision at that point because both careers require experience and age. So that was sort of like, right, I need to commit myself 100% to one industry, and I can't be, if I can't be what's the word, I can't be excelling in any of those industries if I'm going to split myself to both industries.
Hmm.
So I decided that while I was still in the Philippines, I decided I'll pursue modeling and give it all my best, exhaust everything that I can, whether it's financially, physically, emotionally, mentally, like really try everything I could to make it worth it for myself and for the as a career. And if I've tried everything and it didn't work, then I'll have to figure it myself out after that. But at least I've exhausted everything and I know that, there's no regrets in like just quitting if it didn't work.
Hmm.
So yeah, I immediately I guess unlike other models who started pretty young and sort of started modeling as more of a hobby, I immediately came into the industry with the mindset of this has to work, this has to be a career, this has to be a lifestyle that can be achievable and can be sustainable. And so I think that early on, that mindset really helped me to just pursue what I have right now and where I am right now. And, I'm not saying it I'm not saying it in a proud way. I'm just more of saying it like, I guess in any other industry or in any other goals you want to achieve, I feel like having that mindset really helps from the beginning because, it's a tough industry and it's not modeling is not just a tough industry, it's a competitive industry. And I feel like if you don't have that mindset, you could easily be discouraged.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, well, like you say, you kind of yeah, you're going up against a lot of other people, and
Yeah.
yeah, so there's that as well. And then I think there's also that knowing that you go, well, if I put, as opposed to splitting it between stuff, if you can put 100% into it, well, I've given it everything. Um,
Mhm.
it's that feeling of knowing I've given everything I can, so at least if it works or it doesn't, you've done everything you can with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, did you like learn it anywhere? Like did you kind of train anywhere, or did you see anyone doing it, or did you just kind of pick it up as you went along? How did you?
I think I just sort of pick it up as I went along. To be fair, during university, I would do some like test shoots for like my friends, and I was just really, what's the word, like dabbing along each and every kind of extracurricular activities. And then a few people would just say, you can be a model, or there's also this international model. She doesn't model anymore, sadly. But she was the first Filipina to win the Ford modeling competition. And a lot of people would tell me how my face resembles her. And so I guess those ideas were like sprinkled in to me quite early on. But yeah, I had no training. Back then there was no social media, so I did not know what modeling career would be like. And then yeah, I just really just went along and sort of like I was more of a yes girl at first. The first 2, 3 years, I was just saying yes to everything. Yes, let's do that because I just want to learn as much as I can about the industry. Um, and now I think after I've been doing it for about 7 years now, I'd say I'd have more knowledge and a full grasp, I guess, of the industry, at least in London.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you feel like the point now you can be a bit more like kind of choosy with what you want to do and all that sort of stuff
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Exactly.
um, well, yeah, we'll go to the first image. With the
Okay.
first one I wanted to talk about was the uh, the silver, the one we were wearing the silver dress. Who was this with? What was this one for?
So this was a magazine in the Philippines. I shot this just this year, when I came back home in the Philippines, and it was with a photographer. He was the first photographer I worked with for an editorial when I started my modeling career in the Philippines. So it was quite I don't know, it was quite, what's the word, really heartwarming to have like that. I've started with him, and then after all these years, I came back and we did a shoot together. And then this time he was featuring my mother agency, the mother agency I've established last year. So
Mhm.
it's sort of a nice, I guess, reunion, or more of like a, yeah, a nice moment of my career. Yeah, and we just, I like what I said. I love doing editorials, and I love it too when I just click with the pandemic as well.
Mhm.
But it has gone really well, and yeah, he's done well with the magazine too.
What's it like when yeah, so on the shoot, is he kind of with the poses and stuff like that as well? Was it much direction from him as well? Was it a lot of it from your side, or like you say, because you've worked together as well before, you kind of know that connection's there anyway. So it's just you can almost do it without having to say too much to each other.
It was more of like we were just playing together. There wasn't any mood board. I didn't know what I was gonna wear actually. He just said, "Okay, right. Let's meet at this time, at this studio. These are the designers, and then, just do your magic, really." And then yeah, it was, I can't explain that feeling, but like, so for me, it's like just pouring your heart out into the art of photography and modeling, and that's what it felt for me. So I hope that's what it felt for him too. But yeah, it just felt so natural, and just we were just sort of like almost playing together, creating art together, and it was such a quick shoot because we just know each other well in the relationship, in both behind and in front of the camera. Yeah, we just sort of click, really.
Yeah, well, it makes it easy because you cut for all that, maybe not the awkwardness at the start, or kind of getting to know. You've already got that there. It's kind of straight into it, and you're straight into the fun and just enjoying the shoot.
Yeah,
What
exactly.
when you're doing kind of like pose, well, even like poses like this, or just like shoots in general, what's kind of going through your head? Is there like a thought process? Is there a thing of
Mm,
are you kind of thinking about anything specific, or?
mm. When I started, actually, I really look up to Coco Rocha.
Mhm.
So she's the queen of poses, and I just love how she just does everything in whatever shoot it is. And yeah, she was like my inspiration to just like pose whatever, just make movements, dance, or it doesn't have to be the typical poses where it's like an arm on the hips or cross your arms, etc. So I looked her up in that way, and I think by just watching her Instagram, and she was also one of the first few models that started Instagram
Mhm.
at that time. So yeah, I got inspiration a lot from her. And now in shoots, because I work mostly in e-com, it's quite hard to bring that energy. If anything, e-commerce nowadays are a bit, oh yeah, can we tone it down a bit, less poses, etc. That's why it's sort of nice to have editorial shoots every now and then because I get really creative.
Mhm.
But my approach to every shoot is that if it's an editorial shoot especially, is just to really put myself and think outside of the box as much as I could. And I try to like not replicate the poses I've done in the past. So it's more of like really trying to like dig into myself. What is this shoot speaking to me? What are the clothes speaking to me? What is the makeup speaking to me? And sort of I want to reflect whatever it has reflected on me through those photos.
Mhm.
And I see modeling as an art, it's an art of pose, and I take pride in that. And I hope that through posing and through the images that people would see, that is reflected on that. At the same time, I consider myself as a canvas. I am, depends on what the situation is. If I'm trying to um, feature, let's say, a makeup artist or a designer, I want to make sure I translate whatever they want to be translated through the images, because at the end of the day I'm just a canvas. And I as much as I could, I want to be so flexible and be able to adapt in different scenarios, because of that thinking. I think myself as a model, I'm not the star. I'm mostly really the canvas of, and the team, the photographer, the makeup artist, the hairstylist, the designer, they're here to sort of paint that canvas and make it an art. So yeah, that's really what goes through my mind on a shoot.
Yeah,
And that makes sense.
yeah. Well, I mean, looking through your work, it's you can see a lot of that anyway, and you can see like what I like is the you've got such like a broad like range of stuff, different shoots you've done and all
Mhm.
that. And it was, I mean, picking out a few, it was hard just to pick out a few images because there's quite a lot that I wanted to talk about, and you got quite a range and different brands you've worked with and different styles and all that. So I think you can really see that in your work anyway, just the fact that you're willing to do such a range of stuff, and that's quite nice. So when you say about uh like the sort of I think what we were saying then about, oh yeah, the not just doing like kind of generic. It's more you're doing it to the specific the shoot that's happening then. So
Mm.
you're not just kind of churning out the same like poses or I know this
Yeah,
works, so I'll just do that. You're doing it more specifically to okay, what is the makeup like today? What is the styling?
yeah.
And adapting it to that. Um, yeah, second image was this is quite the fun image. It's that Bioma, the skincare.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I noticed that's quite a recent one, so I wanted to talk about that. I know I've seen some of you've got some of the video, some of the posters. Um, it looks like was yeah. I mean, it looks like it was quite a fun shoot. So yeah, was it?
Yes, it was really a fun shoot. To be fair, see, in most of the shoots that I go to, they never really give you, or at least the models, they never give the models like a heads up. By the way, this is what you're doing. So on the spot, they're like, okay, this is the mood board, and I'll be honest. At first, I struggled because I feel like there was sort of a lack of communication, or more of like a little bit of misunderstanding what the direction was of the shoot. So I did struggle a little bit, but I don't like to give up. I like the challenge, so I just keep pushing myself. And it helps to also have to communicate to the photographer and to the client afterwards, because you can tell when you're in a shoot, you can tell what's the vibe, what's the energy of the people. Are they liking it? Are the clients liking it? And I am really aware about that. I'm aware about of my environment and this and my surroundings, because I know at the end of the day, it's me who's being reflected. It's my work that's being reflected, and I want to make sure I give it my best. And I want to make sure the clients are happy, the photographers are happy with my work. So when we were able to actually be on the same page with the direction. I got the direction. I was like, okay, I gotcha. I get what you mean, and yeah, I'll give you my interpretation of that. But yeah, it was a really fun shoot. It was quicker than I expected, really. um, I wish it lasted longer, but there were so many models at that day. The setup was really cool. Um, yeah, I was so happy how it turned out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's interesting you say that about the uh, it's quite so that's is it quite like say it's quite common to turn up and not be too sure exactly
Yeah.
what they want you to do? Is that so? Is that more common than you'd expect, really?
Um, I guess some clients would exactly know what they want. So it's for that, it would be easier to know, okay, this is the kind of direction that they want. And they have photos, they have the mood board. And sometimes it's kind of straightforward when you work with a lot of e-com brands and it's pretty much sort of in a similar line. But for campaigns, I'd say it depends on the client too. There are some clients where they're a bit secretive in a way.
Mhm.
And that those are the clients where I find it a bit difficult to know if I'm doing it the right way in their direction. But I just ask them and see, hey, am I doing it right? Lead me into the direction that you want if I'm not doing it right. But yes, as a model, I feel like that's also another skill that you train yourself or you learn eventually is to just like wing it.
Yeah.
Wing it as long as you could or fake it till you make it. Yeah.
Well, I think also like saying that as well, like you said, it's quite a good bit of advice as well about if you do get there, if there's not been too much, but just being a bit vocal yourself of kind of
Yeah.
being like, oh, I'm unsure about like, is this what you want? Am I getting it right? So
Mm.
I think just being quite vocal and making sure you're on the same page.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, can you? I know you said it was quite a short thing. Can you talk us through like how the day went? Like when you went in, yeah, was everything kind of like set up, and was it just pretty quick, like straight in on set and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so because there were like loads of models that day. I think there was like five models during that shoot. And so we were sort of like taking turns and they were taking the before shot and then the after shot with a little bit of makeup and some skincare. And then because it was, five models, it was quite a tight shoot. So they have to really, what's the word, make sure each model gets their turn. And, but at the same time, as each model gets their turn, you got to explain the direction, you got to do the photos, you got to do the videos, and then make sure everyone's happy, especially the clients. Um, so that in a way it made it quick because I was literally on set for just, I don't know, I'd say 20, no, I'd say 30 to 40 minutes in total for a whole day of shoot. So I had my turn in the morning and then I had a quick my turn as well in the afternoon, and that was really it. But at the same time, it gives me a bit of like pat in the back when it's working because you were done on set immediately. Yeah. So so in a way it's like a good thing because it's like, okay, she got it immediately. The clients are happy, yeah, there's really nothing else to do if they're happy and they got the shot. So
Yeah. Well, yeah, like I said, it's quite a good sign if you think
yes.
that's it. Then I've got it. I've done it. It's been done that quick. Um, and it looks really cool. Like I mean, the video as well, and do like the press in the face, and it looks just
Mm.
like yeah, quite a fun, a different one to do. Um, I've got a scene on the your Instagram with like the different places and there's some of the posters and the billboards. Um, how does that feel like? Because I know you've done like with say like ASOS and some other brands and like boots and stuff like that. How does it feel seeing yourself on posters and billboards? And is that something you get used to?
I feel like no. um To be fair, the really first one that I saw myself in the tube ad, that I was really like gutted. Oh, sorry, I was really excited to see it. I was so like, oh my gosh, this happening? But as I get it more and more, I'm so grateful that clients still want to hire me. I thought I had this idea before where if they see your face quite a lot, they'll get sick of your face and they won't book you. But in a way, for me, it just feels like it's also work. Seeing my face on the streets or on different places around the world. It's really a proud moment, but at the same time, I can't explain it to people, but it's also just my work, at the end of the day, it's just it really. It's like, yeah, it's good for my portfolio. And if anything, I also try not to get into my head. I don't want to be this model who it's such a pet peeve for me as well. I don't want to be one of those models who just got too proud of themselves and sort of forgotten where they've started, etc. And yeah, I don't want to be one of those models. So I soak in the moment. I appreciate where my work has taken me, but I try to keep myself grounded at the end of the day. And yeah, at the end of the day, I'm still just the normal person who deals with life every day. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things kind of relating to that as well, because obviously that shoot was photos and video. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, something I was going to ask is do you find much of a difference when doing the two?
Not really. Not really. For me, how I see it is that when I see a camera, actually even a phone, but maybe, yeah, even a phone, like I have this almost like a sixth sense or like sixth vision. I don't know how you call it, where it's like I can know where I would know already when there's a camera around me, and when I'm in front of the camera, I just immediately sort of like transform. I'm like, right, what do you want me to do? I'll I have a term. I'll make love to the camera.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, there's not much difference at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and what do you think yeah, as a model, what do you think it takes to be a good model?
Ooh, that is a tough question.
I put you on the spot there. That's quite a yeah.
That is a tough question. I'd say I go with I'd like to answer that question in two ways.
Mhm.
Firstly, it takes things to be in order for you to be a good model, you gotta make sure you're a good teammate. And it's in everything, whether you should be on time on set, you should be ready when you're on set, be nice to your colleagues, to your teammates. At the end of the day, yeah, you're just a canvas, and the people or the team around you would make it work well if you treat them well. If you're acting like a bitch or a diva, then why would people want to work with you? And so yeah, those simple things, like just be aware of what's happening, be alert, be professional as much as you could on set. It's still a job at the end of the day, it's not a playground. So that's the first side where I'd always make sure I have that attitude. And then the other side is when I'm in front of the camera. Um, this one, I guess, is a bit subjective, and I guess it's also different model per model. Um, I feel like it's a journey that each model should try and discover themselves. Almost like what is your identity as a model? How would you want to be known as a model, or what sort of like your legacy as a model? And that's different model per model. But for me, I'd say for myself, in order for me to consider myself as a good model in that sense, is that I need my standards for myself is that I gotta be sure that I'll be as adaptable as I can, no matter what the shoot is, no matter what the mood board is, no matter what the campaign is, whether it's under the sea or on the streets or it's winter or summer. I gotta give it my best, and my interpretation of whatever theme they have. Um, I hope I could just sort of give it, and that translates in the photos. So yeah, it's sort of hard to describe because I feel like it's so subjective and it's more of a visual thing, more than explaining it through words. But I hope I was able to give that picture. So yeah, that's sort of my two cents for
Yeah.
that question. Yeah.
No, it's nice. Like I say, it's very subjective. It's a very personal thing. It's different for different people. But
Mm.
that's why I quite like to find that out from yeah, different models, and then I'll ask like maybe like makeup artists and stylists while they're from their side of, because it's like I say it's very personal, but it's nice to see how uh, everyone kind of views it themselves and how they
Mhm.
sort of like feel what their most important things are. Um,
Yeah.
the last image we'll go into was the one where you've the really extravagant like the purple outfit. Um, that shoot from I think it was quite like a big team, but it's just I'm going through like some of the other images, and there's ones where you got like the really kind of spiky nails,
Yes.
the red nails, and all that sort of stuff
Yes.
as well. Yeah, this was really cool. This again, it was because I thought I'd pick out something that's quite a bit different. Like I say, there's quite a range of stuff in your work, so
Yeah.
this was quite different. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, what was the kind of concept behind this one?
So this was a test shoot. And the photographer, he's known for using lights in his photos, like colored lights in his photos. And when he reached out to me, I was already a fan of his work before. I think my hairdressers have worked with him, and that's how I saw his page. So when he reached out and he was looking for a model, I was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. Let's do a test shoot together. The whole team was just incredible. So it wasn't just the photographer. Even his assistants were great. The makeup artist was amazing. Her name's Sophia. She's incredible. She's known for like what's the word? Creative lip artwork.
Hmm.
And yeah, I've just blown away of how talented she is, and she's still young. So yeah, she has a long career ahead of her. And of course the hairstylist is also my friend. And yeah, the designer. See, the designer also had like an interesting story. I think this purple outfit that you're describing is actually a plane. It's shaped as a plane.
Oh, okay, yeah, because it's got the propeller on the top. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So when I first saw this, I was like, how did you even make this? From what I remember, everything was 3D printed. So it was quite heavy too. It
Yeah.
was really heavy to wear and to have a shoot. So to take photos of it, like it's really, really heavy. And I was like thinking, how do I even wear this? But he had like sort of mechanisms on how to wear it. But yeah, I thought it was an incredible test shoot. Everyone just gave it their all, and you know, it's a good day. I'd say it's a good test shoot when everyone gives them their all. So yeah, I'm glad I was part of the shoot because yeah, like what you said, it's a unique, striking photo too.
Yeah, well, it is like the images going through it, and like I say, yeah, it's that they're very unique. It's a very unique style.
Yeah.
It's cool knowing that as well. Like say yeah, that it was 3D printed as well, like the outfits and stuff. Did you get shown that stuff be like ideas beforehand, or was it more who's kind of works, so you kind of know round about what it's going to be like?
The photographer only showed me like a brief mood board of it beforehand, but you know, I did not know at all what I was wearing, what the makeup was going to be like up until like on the day. Um, I knew my hairdresser, so that was it. But other than that, I wasn't sure what the clothes I was wearing. So when the plane showed up, I was like, wow, okay. If anything, for me, that's like candy in my hand, you know, when I've
Yeah.
seen something crazy on the rail, I was like, yeah, I get really excited. I'm like a kid with an ice cream when I see that.
Well, it goes back to what we were saying about previously about the do you kind of see it, and it's especially with something like this, do you feel like it's kind of taken on a bit of a character, and it's like we said
Mm.
about where you're doing it specifically to that shoot. So I'm guessing that's why you get that excitement, because you feel like, oh yeah, it's something completely different. It's something
Yeah.
I can do this kind of character with it or whatever.
And you kind of like play around with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It
Yeah.
looks like it looks it looks really fun. Was there was it was it more just kind of like more about this, like in terms of time, was it the setup and all that, and then was it just like a few shots? I'm guessing it was it not like loads, was it not taking loads of shots, was it more about the setup and the time taken for that? Can you remember?
I think he was taking loads of shots still.
Okay.
But yeah, I remember now. He was really taking loads of shots because I remember it was like becoming heavy, but I'm like, you know what? For good photos, I can do it. I'm just, I'd say this is just my workout,
Yeah,
whatever. But yeah, so it was a mix of like taking varieties of poses and different light setups as well. He was also like moving around the lights, changing the what's the word? The colored paper. What is it called?
the gels. Putting
It
like
was
gels on it.
it was actually more just a I forgot what it's called. Maybe it's called a gel. But I feel like I have a different name for it. But he literally would just like stick a different color and then just try and move it around. And then he would also do some like, okay, maybe I don't know if I'm saying it right, but like slowing down the oh my gosh, I should probably know this by now. It's a camera setting where you sort of slow down the shutter.
Oh, the shutter speed.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Also,
So
he's kind
he
of doing that to get, yeah, like the bit of the blur or the motion or something like that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, exactly. Okay, I guess I'm learning some bits. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's very creative. When you go for all the images, it's very creative. You can see like the kind of, I mean, just the different use with colors and then the lighting and yeah,
Yeah.
it's nice to see that like just different techniques used and
Mhm.
working with the camera in different ways.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but that's a really cool shit. I mean, it's just the fact that it's one of them where it just all comes together. Say it's a big team,
Yeah.
everyone from like the styling, the makeup, the hair, like the photography, like your sort,
Mm-hmm.
everything just kind of comes together.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Okay.
okay, yeah, we'll go on to the before we finish, we'll go on to the Pilates that you set up,
Oh, yes.
the studio. So yeah, tell us a bit about that new venture.
So funny enough, I initially thought of doing a photography studio first. But then I realized as I was like looking for places in London where to set up the studio, I realized I'm not really gonna use the studio that much because I think it would benefit more if I'm a photographer. But I'm not a photographer. I don't know anything about photography, except the shutter speed. Um, so that quickly transformed into, okay, actually, let's just do a Pilates studio because I love reformer Pilates. I've been doing it for about 2 years, and it also earns more.
Hmm.
So that was really like a no-brainer. Um, and yeah, again, like what I said, as much as I could, I would love to model for as long as I want. But at the end of the day, I just also want to be realistic and sort of have a backup plan in case that doesn't happen. Knock on wood. Um, but yeah, so that was sort of a spontaneous business venture, and I'm glad I did it. So it's been sort of overtaking my life the past few months, but it's been fulfilling, and seeing it happen is just yeah, it's amazing. I'm actually in my studio right now. I'm doing this interview. So yeah, it's nice to see how the vision just came to life eventually. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose it must be nice to have like your own space. Like say if you're there now as well, and you can do some of this stuff. What was it like setting it up and kind of getting the studio and all that? Was it really tricky? Was it kind of did you have a dream of like what you wanted it the ideal space, or did you have to compromise? Or
There was definitely a lot of compromise, but I had like a vision of how I wanted to look. But because I'm on a budget, I don't have big capital for it. I really have to compromise a lot and just sort of like be resourceful and be creative on what mirrors I should use or what reception table I should use, because I need to be make sure that I'm still on budget. But I learned so much. Jumping into this venture, I don't have a business background. I'm not good at Excel, but like there was a lot of research that I had to do. And I think my science background is just loving it.
Mhm.
I've been in the creative industry for so long, and don't get me wrong, like I love my job so much, and I feel like I wouldn't be able to do this if I'm not working in the fashion industry, it would be tougher to do another business venture if I'm working in a corporate job.
Mhm.
So I'm really grateful that I have time to, think of things that I want to pursue and actually have time to pursue it and do research and actually make it happen. Um, but yeah, it's tough to also do it on my own. Um, People ask me, how do you do it? How do you juggle, your career, your modeling agency on the side, and then now this Pilates studio? I tell them, well, I have no choice. I really have no choice. Like at the end of the day, I said yes to this, and there's no one that could help me out but myself. So in a way, that was good because I forced myself to really push my limits and push myself out of my comfort zone. And I love the journey, both the good and the bad, and I love learning so much. I wish I had this attitude when I was in uni.
Yeah.
But now as I get older, yeah, I do love learning, and whether it's um whether it's through people or whether it's through this new business venture, like I love how it stimulates my mind and it really pushes myself even further. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's good. Yeah, like I say, you seem very busy, and then it's good to have like yeah the two. Is it all opened up now and all up and going?
Sadly, no.
Okay.
Initially, I wanted to open by June because that was the first date that my supplier said that, yeah, we can have the reformer beds by the end of June. So that was initially the plan. However, it was delayed. So now I'm opening in August. So I'm really just waiting for the beds now at this point. But yeah, I'm taking my time and, I'm just focusing more on marketing and really pushing the word out there that there's a new reformer Pilates in London.
Yeah. And what was the name of it? I didn't mention the name.
So it's called Hiraya Pilates.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll put a little link up for it, and yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be good to see it like up and going and kind of see how like, the other business adventure takes off.
Well, if you're in London on August 21,
Okay.
come into my launch event,
Yeah,
launch party.
yeah, you'll have the launch one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah, I'll send you the invite later.
Yeah.